So, you just got the iPad 7th generation, and now you're looking around for a cover, a case, maybe a keyboard. But there's so many options to choose from. Well, don't worry. I'm going to be doing an unboxing and a review of the Logitech Slim Folio for the iPad 7th generation. And I'll also talk a little bit about the Apple smart covers on this episode of The Creator's Journey. Hey folks, welcome back to another episode of The Creator's Journey. I'm Gary. If this is your first time here, thanks for checking me out. If you've regularly watched my videos before, well then welcome back. A couple of months ago, I purchased the brand new iPad 7th generation. And about 2 weeks later, I was sitting in Starbucks with a client and it fell off the table and cracked its screen. Thankfully, I had the Apple Care Plus, so I got a brand new iPad for only 50 bucks. But it started me thinking that I really should get a case for it. And if I was going to get a case, I wanted to get a keyboard so I could take it with me and write on the run and not have to lug my laptop everywhere. So I started researching different cases and different keyboards. I came across one that I loved, it looked really great, so I pre-ordered it. That was the Logitech Slim Folio keyboard. I ordered it back in October. It was supposed to be here in November. So in the interim, I picked up an Apple smart cover. Now, before we get into the unboxing and the review of the Logitech Slim Folio, let me talk a little bit about this Apple Slim cover. Okay? This little piece here was 50 bucks. Yes, that's right, $50. Now, that may seem excessive, and for me it does, but it's branded by Apple, and it's made for the Apple iPod. And for what it's supposed to do, it does it very well. It covers the screen and protects the screen from dusts, fingerprints, or anything like that. And if it's a small fall, accidentally gets knocked off the couch, it does provide a little extra protection from the iPad. But if you're getting the smart cover to protect both sides of your iPad from scratches and blemishes, then you don't want this because it does not protect the back of an iPad. I understand that when they first created it, the first generation smart cover did cover the back of the iPads. Now they only cover the front. The one thing I really love about this cover, and I'll see if, I'll do it over here, is you can fold it in various ways. So it can act as sort of a tripod, a small tripod, that you can prop your iPad up against, which is really, really great if you're sitting on a train or if it's late at night and you're just lying on the couch or you're lying in bed and you want to watch something on your iPad, or maybe you want to play a game but you don't want to hold the iPad. You can prop it up and it just sits there wonderfully. It's really great for that. I use it all the time when I'm lying in bed late at night and I want to watch some Netflix, or I want to watch something on Hulu, or I want to play my Star Trek Fleet Command game. I'm a huge Star Trek fan. Star Trek Fleet Command, it's an MMORPG, I think they call it. It's a lot of fun. Check it out if you're a Star Trek fan. In any case, is this worth $50? If I had to do it again and I can find the same thing cheaper, I would get it cheaper. I wouldn't pay $50 for this, except that I needed it because I was waiting for the Logitech Slim Folio case, and I wanted some additional protection so I wouldn't break the screen on my newest iPad. So, as I was saying earlier, the Logitech was supposed to come in around November. It actually arrived a few days into December. And I sat down, and at that time, I created my very first unboxing video to show you guys what it looked like. And so we're going to show that video now. Please be kind. It was my first. Hey folks, it's Gary. It is a cold, rainy New York day here, and I'm feeling pretty good because I just came from the door and the UPS brought me an early Christmas present. I had pre-ordered the new Slim Folio keyboard for my 7th generation iPad. It was supposed to ship in November. Unfortunately, it did not ship until a couple of days ago, but right now, here it is. Here is the box. Hopefully you can see this. I want to show you where it says Logitech. Maybe you can see that. Maybe. There it is. Hopefully you can see it. Slim Folio. So here we are. This is the Slim Folio keyboard. And you can see here it is Bluetooth, low energy technology. That's how it connects. Well-spaced keys, iOS shortcuts, has a 4-year battery life, and a home for the Logitech Crayon or Apple Pencil 1st generation. And for me, that was really the big selling point on. And here we have the Logitech Slim Folio. And there is some plastic wrapped around here that has to come off. I'm going to try and take it. This is what the keyboard looks like. This is the battery slip. The iPad, I don't know if you can see this. I'm going to try and get this better. Just clicks in. It's very easy. Just pops in. So then you can see it has space for the volume, the on button, the cameras, and the speakers. So everything is there. And if we have the little Apple Pencil right there, the Apple Pencil goes right in there and holds. This is actually a pretty cool kit. I like this. This is what it looks like. A fully functional keyboard. I'm going to play with it for a few days, and then I'll come back and let you know what I think of it. Been a few weeks since I made that unboxing video, and I've been using the Slim Folio case by Logitech with my iPad since then, putting it through its paces. I was especially interested in using the keyboard to see what that worked like and the feel of that, the touch and feel of the keyboard. I gotta say that I'm really happy with the keyboard. It's a very sturdy keyboard. It's not a flimsy or a floppy. I know on some covers, especially the Apple cover, what I heard from many people in the reviews that I read is that it didn't sit flat, that the keyboard always rose a little. The keyboard sits flat, and it's a good, nice sized keyboard that doesn't feel spongy at all. I like the feel of the keys. There's also extra keys on there to automatically go back to the home screen or bring up the application screen where you see all the open apps that are up there at just a touch or a double touch of the keyboard, of the key. So that I really, really like. It's a great keyboard. It's a good feel. It's a good response time. And it really feels like I am typing on a real keyboard. That's really good, and it's key for me because the one reason I wanted the keyboard was I didn't want to have to lug my laptop everywhere. Now, for the cons, such as they can be. The case, and you can see it here, you can see the keyboard and the tray that holds the iPad. The case is a very sturdy case. So it will definitely protect the iPad if it falls off a table. That's really, really great, especially if you're klutzy like me. I already lost one iPad. I don't want to lose another, right? So that's a really good thing. Now, I got to tell you that the case, when the iPad is in the case, it does add a little bit of bulk to the iPad. The one thing I loved about the iPad when walking around using no cover or with the smart cover was that it still felt slim. It still felt slim and light and not bulky at all. When you add the Slim Folio case on it, it does add a little bit of bulk. Not a lot. I mean, it's not like walking around with a textbook or anything. But for me, I definitely can tell the difference. And after a few days, I start to miss that really slim, thin, almost invisible feeling of just the iPad itself. Likewise, it does add a little bit of weight to the iPad. Not a lot. I mean, we're not talking a pound or even 2 pounds, but it's definitely noticeable from just the iPad by itself. So please keep those things in mind when you're thinking about purchasing this. For me, well, honestly, it makes a difference for me, right? I like that slim, that skinny, that light, that almost invisible nature that the iPad has. And while this case does afford wonderful protection, it does add a little bit of girth and a little bit of weight. And it may seem nitpicky, but that does make a difference for me. Now, one of the good things about this case is that you can fold it in half and back, and again, this is the tray where your iPad would sit, so you can very easily watch or use the iPad by itself, and you can see the keyboard is staying in the back. This could be dangerous, I guess you want to say, because the keyboard is open and exposed. So if you're using it in a park, if you're using it in a public place, the keyboard runs the risk of getting damaged by what's going on around you. Also, if you're like me, I'm primarily right-handed, so I usually keep the iPad when I'm holding it in my right hand, and again, the touch and the feel of the keys is something when I'm just holding it kind of gets on my nerves, right? I'm a very tactile person. Touch and texture is important to me. So when I'm holding this, it's not exactly the most pleasant experience in the world. Would it stop me from buying it? Absolutely not. It's just a little, as I said, nitpicky thing, right? Also, when the iPad is in, you could see the way it turns around is the material is bendable and foldable, and that has the weight of the iPad has a tendency to slide down, and so everything shifts. Again, that's more of a feel and a texture thing that may be unique to me, and it's definitely something that I would ignore if I was to buy this now, but it is something I wanted to call to your attention because it does tend to slide around when it's in this folded state, right? Now, when the iPad is sitting in here, it clunks in right there and automatically connects via Bluetooth. By the way, if you're wondering where the iPad is, I'm filming on it right now, which is why it's not in the Logitech case. But for right now, just imagine the iPad sitting right there with the keyboard. And it is, as I said, a really nice keyboard. Now, overall, I would give the Logitech Slim Folio 8, maybe 9 stars out of 10. It retails for, I think it's $119 on the Logitech website, which as far as I know is the only place you can get it. I would definitely recommend it. What I have started to do is keep the iPad out of the case using the Apple Smart cover to protect it from smudges and fingerprints, and also to conserve the battery. When I'm in and around the house and I'm not doing any writing, and when I decide to go out and I need the iPad, I just pop it into the case. So I hope this gave you some food for thought, some valuable information when making the decision on which case to buy and what keyboard to get. Again, for me, the Slim Folio case, I would give it 8 out of 10 stars. I think for the price, it's definitely worth it. It's actually cheaper than the keyboard that Apple sells for it. It is sturdier and has a better feel than the Apple keyboard. So, again, I'm giving this 2 thumbs up. I'm going back to the 2 movie guys. I can't think of their names, but you know, they used to do the movie reviews and give thumbs up or thumbs down. I'm giving the Slim Folio 2 thumbs up, and I'll give the Apple Smart Cover 1 thumb up, 1 thumb down, because really, I don't think it's worth 50 bucks, but it does what it says it's going to do. So that's all I got for you for this episode of The Creator's Journey. Until the next time, keep writing. I do want to show one other feature of the Slim Folio case, and this really made my day. This pushed me over the edge on wanting to purchase this, and that is this right here. I don't know if you can see it on the screen, but what this is a holder for the Apple Pencil. Let me get a little closer so you can see that. You can see that the Apple Pencil Series 1 slips right in there. So I always have the pencil with me when I have the case and the iPad. I don't have to worry about the pencil getting damaged or putting it in a knapsack or my pocket or a different bag and running the risk of losing it or it getting damaged, because it sits right here all the time. For me, that was a deciding factor in me going for this. I liked the fact that it had a pocket, I guess you can call this a pocket, for the pencil, so I could take it with me all the time. Now, I will say one thing about the holder for the Apple Pencil and having the pencil here all the time next to the iPad in the case, and that's your iPad is going to recognize and sync up via Bluetooth with the pencil. That means even if you're not using the pencil, it will be recognized and synced with your iPad. I have found this to be a real big battery drain. That before I had the case with the pocket, I'd have the pencil laying down on a table, and it would only be connected through Bluetooth when I was using the pencil, and I can get 3, 4, maybe 5 days worth of use out of the pencil. Now, having it in the case, I'm recharging it every day, maybe every 2 days if I get that far. So please take that into account while thinking about this, that you will be recharging your pencil way more often if you do keep it in that pocket, folder, pouch, whatever you choose to call this.